Well, it finally happened. Nintendo celebrated their favorite Red Plumber / Poop Boy's 35th anniversary and then unceremoniously retired him from the line of duty. Number one, it was actually pretty ceremonious, so that was a lie. Haha, April Fools. Number two, that line of duty was 100% a plumber / poop joke, as was when I said number two. Point is, Mario's 35th anniversary came and went, and although there was some very obvious controversy right here at the end, how was it overall? In a couple of years, we'll hopefully remember the 6 months it lasted rather than its culmination, so here's my recounting of what was good, bad, and fully forgetful. Let's talk about it. Before I give my opinions and taint your pristine perception with very, very interesting insights, what did you think? Did you have a favorite and least favorite product or event as a part of Mario's 35th anniversary? Let me know in the comments. I'll mention mine towards the end of the video. Well, it all officially kicked off on September 3rd, 2020 with the Mario 35 Anniversary Direct. But to be honest, rumors, especially surrounding what ended up being Super Mario 3D All-Stars, were swirling around as early as March or April of that year. And I know that on our podcast and in videos and in every other dream I had when I wasn't dreaming about theoretical pairs, we all speculated on every aspect about that game specifically. Was it going to be a simple port collection, a collection of remasters, or maybe really high-quality remakes that are released separately but fix all of the issues in the games, ultimately meaning more expensive, but theoretically worth it. The other part of the rumor that also came true was a Switch port of Mario 3D World. But step aside rumors, here comes reality. Even before the Mario 35th celebrations really got underway, other collaborating companies started announcing their Mario stuff. First up was Lego Mario. That collaboration was announced on March 10th, Mario Day, in 2020, but it wasn't fully detailed until that June when we saw screenshots and videos of the Mario Lego Set in action. I didn't personally buy any of these sets, but my godson did, and I got to play with it at his house. The set is a lot more gamified than most LEGO sets, as is fitting for Mario. There are NFC chips so that Mario makes his way past obstacles, defeats enemies, and collects power-ups and coins in a pretty linear fashion. To me, it was always a weird blend where it wasn't rigid enough to be a game, but more prescriptive than I'm used to for Legos. But then again, I'm not the target market. My godson got some sets and really loved them, so after watching his interactions, I think this was a slam dunk for a Lego Mario crossover. Later we saw some Mario clothing deals with Levi and the like, which I know I'm not a fashion icon, but I thought looked kind of funny. And in July, we saw the NES Mario Lego Set. This is more akin to a Millennium Falcon kind of set, but pretty ingenious in the way that it fabricates a moving level. Once again, a great Mario and Lego crossover as far as I'm concerned. More Mario merch got announced after that, but like I said, the anniversary celebrations started later than initially planned, considering COVID pushed back a ton of stuff. At which point, September 3rd rolled around and dropped the Mario 35th Anniversary Direct. In this, we learned about 6 main things. The first, the Super Mario Bros. Game & Watch, which jointly celebrated Mario's 35th and the Game & Watch's 40th anniversaries. It released on November 13th. I never got my hands on this console, so I can't give hands-on impressions, but to me, this is a prime example of something that could have all sorts of fun functionality, but is still 100% collection fodder. There are 35 secrets to be found across it, which is fun, but ultimately you're playing classic Mario levels. You can play a million places, and you have a neat watch, which isn't all that helpful these days. I think collection fodder is important for anniversary collections, but I'm glad that that's not all the anniversary ended up being. The second thing announced in the Direct was the confirmation of Super Mario 3D World, which had been rumored, along with a February 2021 release date. But this is where we first heard that it had a new game mode, Bowser's Fury. And all we knew so far was its name, that it seemed kind of open, kind of dark, and there were a lot of cats. The third announcement was Mario 35, a 35-player Mario Battle Royale exclusive. Why did I say Royale? Royale is so weird. Royale. Goodness gracious. Exclusive to Nintendo Switch Online members that launched October 1st that had you playing the original Super Mario Bros. Pitted against 34 other players. To me, this isn't the kind of game that I want to play all the time, but is fun to dip in and out of every now and again. I'm not particularly competitive, but for anyone that is and loves Mario 1, this is a dream come true. I think it was great for it to be free to the Nintendo Switch Online members and likely helped bolster the service for a little while. Announcement number 4 was Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. Honestly, this is a super novel idea, and Nintendo said that the team that worked on it was testing out integrating this kind of product with other IPs. It basically feels like reverse Toys to Life, which is a whole new untapped market. I don't know how well it'll do in the future, but we'll see. It's an augmented reality game where you create Mario Kart courses in your house to drive a small RC Mario Kart or Luigi Kart around, and it interfaces with your screen, so you're seeing NPCs and obstacles and items and stuff, even though your only real obstacles are dogs, desks, and Joy-Con drift. I'm curious how this sold compared to Nintendo's expectations, and to be honest, this felt less like a Mario anniversary product to me and more like a happily coinciding IP. The same way I bet Paper Mario Origami King would have been if they were able to announce all of this in June when they probably intended to. Nevertheless, I love the idea, the technology, and the ideation that's going to come out of it. The only problem is not everyone has hard floors or large enough space to make it work for them, so hopefully future products like this don't share some of those same limitations. The 5th announcement was a bunch of merch, and to be honest, these are the kinds of things that are a widespread in the first place, and to me, fully forgettable. Some folks that are huge Puma fans and Mario fans were thrilled, probably, for the Mario Pumas, but in terms of how these affected the anniversary at large, I think it's good to help broaden the reach and so on, but ultimately not a huge deal for specifically Mario fans. And lastly, Mario 3D All-Stars. I remember watching this trailer for the 3-in-1 package when it was live, and especially following the rumors and endless speculation about its contents, I was mildly disappointed. I was definitely glad that the 3 were being sold together and generally upscaled with small quality of life features, but I'd certainly hyped up my expectations too much ahead of time. The collection released on September 18th, and I picked it up right away. I mean, every 3D Mario game is great, and these are no exception. Mario 64 is my childhood. Mario Sunshine is a divisive classic, and although I'd played Mario Galaxy 2, this was the first time I got to play Galaxy 1. All in all, I personally had a great time with this collection, but I'll certainly argue that as a celebration of 3D Mario, it definitely had room for improvement. These ports were faithful to the original, but maybe a bit too faithful. I don't really expect Nintendo to make foundational changes to their all-time evergreen library, so I did really appreciate the updated camera axis in Sunshine and touch control options for Galaxy, but this would have been a great opportunity to make small, but really significant changes like to the camera in Mario 64. I love that game so much, but it's certainly dated as the first 3D platformer, and I wish they'd made that small kind of change and maybe add some kind of assist mode for anyone who hasn't played it yet, since several of the stars are only really obvious to those of us who remember what we're supposed to do, or, if somebody looks up a guide. But even though it's pretty much just an upscaled custom port collection, it's fine for what it is. The biggest shame is really a lack of bonus features. There's a music player with tracks from each of the games, but this would be the perfect opportunity to release just a few behind-the-scenes details or concept art in an official capacity. All in all, I wish more was done to smooth out the rough edges for newcomers, but I think this is the best official place to play these games, and is a great collection for anyone especially revisiting them. But then comes the monkey's paw situation we're all aware of now. 3 of 6 announcements in that direct were limited releases, only available digitally or with new copies produced until March 31st, 2021, the end of Mario's anniversary celebration. To be fair, I'm not going to include that fact in my overall review impressions of the anniversary, since technically it's not part of the celebration, but obviously the fact that the Mario Game & Watch stopped being produced, Mario 35 came offline without any current confirmation that it would be replaced by anything else, and probably the worst offender, the 3D All-Stars collection no longer had copies being produced, and worst of all, was taken off the eShop. All of that is why the end of the anniversary ended on a bit of a sour note. But we're not done covering everything good. There were 2 more products I want to cover, but during this anniversary, there were also special events and missions like a Mario update in Animal Crossing, Mario Splatoon 2 Splatfest, Mario stuff with Cold Stone Creamery. In and of itself, all this stuff was cool, but there were rewards for these missions like Mario pins and some missions that ended early and people got locked out of completing further missions. And because the rewards were first come first serve with a fairly limited quantity, they ran out before a lot of people got a chance to actually get them. I think this was a great idea, but with somewhat poor execution if you wanted everyone to access the reward. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, Super Nintendo World also opened to Japan during this time on March 18th. It's not officially part of the anniversary, but I think it was originally meant to be, so I thought I should mention it anyway. And the last 2 things were the Mario Edition Switch and 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, both launching on February 12th, 2021. And these were a great way to close it all up. I don't need a new Switch, so I didn't get the Mario Edition one. But as you can see in videos like the one over on Wolf Den, it's just a standard Switch with new Mario colors, and this is the first time a widely released Switch has a colored tablet, finally opening the door for more interesting special editions down the road. And my favorite of all of the anniversary releases was Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. As long as you like Mario, this has a little something for everyone and hits the nail on the head all around. Local and online multiplayer in the main game, which is a more linear 3D Mario title with several different characters to choose between. The game was also tightened up in a lot of small ways compared to the original release. The gameplay was faster and other quality of life changes. And the Bowser's Fury mode is a little bit short for if it were a standalone release, but is a phenomenal accompaniment as an open world sandbox style Mario game. And this one will continue to be on sale for years to come, so no rush, but you should pick it up if you haven't already. So what do we think overall? Before I give my thoughts, let me know in the comments if you didn't before, which of all of those was your favorite product. I'll give you a second. Okay, so of course, the limited releases do end everything a bit bitterly, but if we're not taking that into consideration, which again, I'm not, I actually think this anniversary did an incredibly good job. Even though I don't care about stuff like the Mario Legos and Mario Levi's and stuff, I think that merch and those collaborations definitely do help set the general feeling of a wide celebration. But even though I really only personally participated in buying 3D All-Stars and 3D World and playing Mario 35 a little bit, I think those, along with a special edition Switch, Mario Kart Live, and a bunch more, were great releases and different enough that it didn't feel like too much Mario all at once, but different facets of the same celebration. The biggest change I would have wanted, I think, is for more effort to have gone into 3D All-Stars, whether by more quality of life changes or more historical stuff like concept art, or ideally, both. And the other huge buff that could have been given to the anniversary as a whole would have been a brand new game. But honestly, Bowser's Fury did a pretty stellar job of filling that role, even if to a smaller degree. The fact of the matter is that if just about any other franchise got even half of the rollout Mario did, I think its whole fandom would be thrilled. And we'll see what happens with Mario 35 and the games in 3D All-Stars down the road, but for now, happy birthday, Mario. I hope you felt loved before you were ceremoniously killed. But that's what I think. What do you think? You probably already let me know in the comments. But if not, now's a great chance to do so. What franchise do you wish got even half the celebration that Mario did? Let me know that down below, and while you're down there, be sure to like the video and subscribe to fanatixfour for more videos like this every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. and a podcast on our second channel and podcast services every Saturday. On there, we'll also take some of the comments from this video and talk about them. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace and blessings.